is the short form media epidemic and how awful it is making human beings.
Is it everything below? Hey!
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, short form media. I watch it when I'm in bed, at night.
I mean, everybody watches it. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm a saint and I don't watch short form media, but I do it in like spurts. Like I'll be on like a tangent of like scrolling through and I'm just like, nothing's like really, what's going on, Joe? Nothing's really like
buddy.
capturing me or like interesting, so I just kind of swipe up out of it. But there's sometimes where I'm just like, it's just one after the other, and I'm just like scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and then I like your feed starts to change based on like the stuff that you're watching the most of. Like you watch like a full length instead of just swiping up. And dude, like all it takes is one video to just mess up your whole day.
Well, yeah. I mean, so I most often watch it, when I'm laying in bed. I'm not quite tired yet. I'll just be like going through email or going through Facebook or something, and then I'll see something where it's like, oh yeah, that one looks kind of cool. But you pointed out, the algorithm that they use, which I don't know if people realize this, but you started to dive into it. It is a learning model. So, you pull up a video, and let's say that video is 30 seconds long. It's going to quantify how much of that 30 seconds you watch. If you watch it twice,
if you keep watching it, or if if you're taking a dump and you're watching a video and then you sit it on the sink while you're wiping, then it just replays 100 times.
And what it does is it basically uses that consumption to give it what I've heard referred to as an engagement score.
Yeah.
So the things that score higher, and it essentially builds a profile for you. Some of them are session based, some of them are, user profile based. So like it follows you from session to session. Like if you notice how on Facebook you will get reels, I think they call them, that are always very similar. Even if you like close out of Facebook entirely.
And also, I've realized too, like depending on like your starting point. Like if I start on like a reel that's gaming related, a lot of the referred reels will be something like in the entertainment realm and or gaming related. But if I start on like take online courses or something and I scroll through that, like it's just whatever it decides to throw at me.
Exactly. Like for me, I actually have never actually watched the show Suits. Yeah. But I will watch a lot of reels from Suits because I think they're funny. I think they're interesting. And I've watched so many of them that's kind of what's suggested to me in Facebook when I'm scrolling through my news feed. So that's one of those things where Facebook, and it makes sense. Your Facebook, is a representation of your identity.
Yeah.
It's you. It's going to follow you. YouTube, on the other hand, I have my YouTube set up not to track search history. Like, it doesn't even track my recent view. It doesn't track any of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I don't want any suggestions. When I go to YouTube, I know what I'm looking for. I want to be able to get it without having it impeded by YouTube thinking it knows me.
Yeah.
So I'll do, like watch shorts, and when I'm watching shorts, I'll scroll through and it'll be very termed to the session.
That's one thing that I don't partake in.
What?
Is YouTube shorts. Like, I do not watch any YouTube shorts. None.
I mean, I don't partake of anybody's shorts, but
like I just don't. I don't know why, but I feel like YouTube, like for like the shorts section, one, I feel like it's the absolute worst of the short form media like outlets. It is the absolute worst.
They are at the back of the
because
pack,
not only like you're getting the like crazy YouTuber garbage that you get from YouTube. Like you know, there's times where I'm on YouTube and I see something and I'm like, oh, like I'm interested in that. I'm going to click on that. I've never seen that creator before or whatever. And I click on it and it's like a video about like, I don't know, some conspiracy theory or a video game or something. And as soon as I click on the video, it's like 1,000 different shortcuts, and they're just like, "Hey, what's going on, guys? Hi, and then it's just like jumping back and forth. I'm just like, I'm out of it already. And like the shorts are the YouTube like way of doing it is, dude, it's just the absolute worst.
Well, and
it's
I mean,
the worst.
YouTube is also, I don't want to say they're at a disadvantage when in terms of like the other services, but because they're owned by Google, and everybody needs Google.
The good thing about, you know, like the Reels, like Facebook Reels and or Instagram Reels is like you're already going on the social media site. So you're already there scrolling.
Yep.
And you see something like a video that's recommended that you would be interested in, and you click it, and then you just swipe, and then you go to the next one, and it just is like that curated feed.
That also begs to enter the party what I think might be the front runner, which would be TikTok.
Okay, I take that back. TikTok is the worst of the short form media.
It's the worst, but it's also the front runner.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Now, my problem with TikTok, one, I don't use it. It's recommended that we not use it for work purposes, but I don't like the idea of a Chinese-based company having not just information about me, but information about the psychology that encompasses me.
Everything.
Right, because they're building that profile,
their privacy agreement or their terms of service makes you want to vomit.
I don't even think it's in effect here.
Oh, it's disgusting.
Like I don't know how the international law works there, but that's the big thing that we're getting to here is the internet's worldwide. Laws, there's not like an international governing body.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of the wild, wild west.
Yeah. Here's why I hate short form media. One, the addiction to it.
The addiction factor is a huge problem for not only kids, but also adults and just anybody.
Right.
Anybody can get addicted to it. You don't have to have a certain type of thing. You can just watch it and scroll a couple of times, and it can grab you.
It's because of the way that it plays on dopamine in the brain. It's because it's limited to short-term wins, and you get a variety. You can get something new every time you swipe.
Yes. It's the what's next? What am I going to see next? Like I just saw somebody kickflip a 15 stair. I'm going to scroll down and I could see somebody playing Through the Fire and Flames at 10x speed perfectly.
Exactly.
Or I can see somebody beating, you know, Super Mario 64 in record time. Or I can see somebody like having a really touching moment with their kid who had this. Like it's insane.
Or you can see some really drastically inappropriate shit that wouldn't even fly on YouTube back in the day.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't even fly on YouTube proper today.
Yeah.
That's my problem, is that it's so easy for a kid to get access to YouTube Shorts. You know, our terms of service say you have to be 13. Math. Yeah, I'm 13. You know, we've been doing that since the dawn of time.
Since the internet existed.
Exactly.
You have to be 18 to view this site.
Okay.
Click yes if you are, click no if you're not. Nobody's clicking no. Nobody's being the Scouts honor like, oh, darn, no.
No, I mean, I didn't click no, but that's my point is like, kids are not getting...
They're not getting dumber.
Smart. Well, I don't want to go there either. They are not going to get to the point where they don't figure out how to circumvent that.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
And when they do circumvent that, it opens the door to these videos that are unhinged. I mean, we're talking like, you know, I've seen videos with like brutal murders.
Dude, yeah, I've seen legitimate, just like things that I would see back in my days of like the old crazy like internet, when like sites you could go to and just watch the craziest shit.
Dude,
like, they've somehow figured out how to pass the auto like zapper basically, and they're
content
like
filter.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a short.
Like all the if it's like a horrific car accident, they just type in like, here's information about the new Mercedes, like, and it's just like this thing, and you're just like, what? I just watched somebody run a red light, get massacred by a semi-truck, and obliterated into nothing. And it's like the Thanos snap.
Here's the thing. 30-year-old man. This is America. Freedom. If he wants to watch it, let him watch it.
Yeah.
They aren't doing enough to block that from the people who shouldn't even have the opportunity to see it.
Yeah.
Like that reel that I came across the other day. You know, let's say, wait, 5? She's turning 5?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect example. She's Dora the Explorer age. She's like right there. She's like on the tail end of it.
Yeah.
So your child loves Dora.
Wait, hold on. Before this is gonna completely derail. Have I showed you the Meat Canyon Dora the Explorer?
Yes.
Okay.
This is worse. So she loves Dora the Explorer, and she's just scrolling along one day, you know.
Yeah.
Happen to have Dad's phone because you guys are out at the grocery store.
Yeah. Which to
I've done it.
Stop everybody that who is like, well, if you don't want them to watch it, then don't give it to them. It's like, okay, look, I was that parent at one point too. Before I became a parent, I was like,
screaming child and a giant.
I was like, I'm not gonna be that parent who gives him the phone. Blah, 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 blah. I know everything. And then you're trying to get shopping done, and they're just everywhere, and you're just like, I'm so worn out. I have no mental energy for this. If you just threw it to them, they are quiet. You can get everything done, and it is fantastic.
Well, and like, so let's rewind 1991. Back in the day, what would they do to get us to do that? Give us gum? Okay, cool, bubble gum. Chewing, blow a bubble. Boom, it's in your hair. Hair's like half cut off.
Yeah, little Susie comes into preschool with a buzz cut.
The problems don't change, only the way they manifest.
Yeah.
But back to the original point, you know, she loves Dora.
Who?
Your daughter. Hypothetically.
Okay.
I know, dude, I get it. I know she's not like that. Anyway. And she's scrolling, you guys are in the grocery store, and she comes across this reel where, you know, it's somebody pretending to be Dora, and she's driving a van, and she sounds like Dora, and they're playing the theme song, and everything's cool, and then suddenly she hits a fucking pedestrian.
Yeah.
And she gets out, and there's this guy there, and his name's Backpack.
Yeah.
And then suddenly she's like, Backpack, you have to bury the body.
Yeah.
And if you don't, I'm going to tell him you did it.
Yeah.
That child is not going to be the same.
No.
So if you guys think that it's like safe,
and that's the thing too, is like, you know, is a young kid that age going to be scrolling through Instagram reels and shorts? Probably not.
Maybe
they have a better chance scrolling through.
Sorry, I've seen it firsthand.
They have a better chance of going through YouTube Shorts for sure, because it's literally a button that, like, if they're trying to press on the iPad or the phone to like navigate their own little videos and watch what they see on the feed, sure, but then there's like the little shorts button that they can accidentally press, and now it's just a video, and then
TikTok's
they just
the
swipe.
same way.
Well, yeah, well, it takes more effort for a 5-year-old to go on TikTok.
And with TikTok, we don't have the privilege of legislatively restricting it, because they don't have to adhere to American content laws.
Yeah. The problem I feel as the more generalized issue with like a younger audience of like that is probably the YouTube Shorts. TikTok is probably like your daughter's age. Like, that's a massive dude.
I mean,
I was listening to a story from one of the YouTubers that I watch. I forget who it was, but they were this is how wild the world that we live in is. So this girl, she was 12 or 13. She was from Pennsylvania.
Which one?
What?
It's a very important distinction.
I honestly don't remember. It was 12 or 13. She was from Pennsylvania, and she was on TikTok, and she would post videos. So
that is a different level of problem.
That is, like, I'm sorry, but that is a parenting fail to the maximum degree. You do not let your kid make short form content, dude. At all. No matter what media outlet it is or social media, like, no, absolutely not.
In 2006, the whole deal was you shouldn't take pictures of yourself without clothes on with your phone and send them to your friends. Now it's you shouldn't take pictures of yourself without clothes on and post it on the internet for everybody under the sun to look at.
Yeah, so
how do we go from bad to worse?
She made like makeup tutorial videos and like stuff like getting ready video, like the worst kind of thing.
Oh my.
And she gained a following.
I'll bet.
Which
that's disgusting.
Is a problem in itself.
It's not if the following was
not
females.
It's not. You already know it's not.
I mean, I could opine and like infer, but I'm not just going to jump to it without investigating.
Yeah, it wasn't.
If it wasn't, then that's different. And
there was a guy who wanted to buy pictures. Nothing. So apparently,
fucking what?
So apparently they weren't bad pictures.
I don't care.
To start.
Dude, you're a stranger. You want to buy pictures of my daughter? Fuck off. I'm going to fucking come hang you.
Her parents allowed it.
I give up.
Her parents allowed it to happen.
I'm not actually going to hang anybody, just to be clear.
So, surprising to everybody, he showed up to their house with a shotgun and was Looney Tunes. Who would have guessed that would have happened?
Hey. Mentally ill.
Who would have guessed that would have happened? And there was a big problem. But I don't remember the outcome of it.
Well, hopefully it wasn't death.
But, yeah, like, what are the... I can't fathom a parent in a situation who, if my 12 or 13-year-old child came to me and was like, hey, this stranger on the internet wants to buy pictures of me.
I have to wonder if the parents actually said yes, okay.
I'm pretty sure they went on record.
Because I got to tell you, I know some 12-year-olds that would just do it without asking and say, my parents told me I could.
I'm pretty sure the parents went on record and said that they allowed it. Which is, dude, that's alarming. But that's the dangers of having, like, so, like, you can monitor your kids on their devices. You know what I mean? Like, if they're 12 or 13, yeah,
to a degree.
Exactly. So, like, you can monitor their activity and what they're using, what they're not using, etc. But they're going to find a way to download these apps that they shouldn't be on, that everybody else around them is on, because, let's be honest,
well, yeah,
there's a lot of parents that just do not care.
Well, I don't think, and that's where I stop, and I'm like, I have a really hard time genuinely believing the parents do not care. I think it's more likely that the parents don't understand or don't realize the scope and the breadth of
that is a problem, where they don't understand, like, how dangerous it really is. But there are just parents that are out there that are just like, cool, are you eating dinner? Awesome. And that's like their interaction with their kid.
I mean, and yes, those parents exist. I absolutely agree. I don't think that represents the majority.
I don't think it represents the majority, but I think it represents more than I'm comfortable
more than
with.
We want to. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not our kid, and it's not
Yeah,
our
but
problem,
that kid influences our kids.
Well, yeah, and that's where we have to be like, yo, hey, yeah, we're not hanging out with them. And it's like, why are we not hanging out with them? And I'm like, well, here, let me give
because
you
their
5
parents
reasons.
suck. Okay.
Because my parenting doesn't align with their parenting. They seem to think it's okay to lie. They seem to think it's okay to be deceitful. They seem to think this, and they're wrong all the fucking time. So,
Yeah, which
no,
I'm completely fine like with people not aligning with my like parenting. That's perfectly fine.
well, I mean,
But
it's
if
good.
if your kid is obviously affecting mine in a very negative way, I'm cutting you off.
Yeah, I mean,
You're getting the axe.
it's not easy. It definitely makes things awkward.
I mean, yes, because you have to deal with those parents probably for a very long time because your kids are in school together.
It helps if things are already awkward.
If it's anything with me, it's awkward from the start.
Awkward.
It's awkward from the start.
Hey, you guys. You want to go fishing?
Dude, but it's such it's such a problem with like young kids. I feel like it's less of a problem unless their parents are actually just insane. Like there are people that will exploit their children too. Like have you seen?
We went there.
Have you
Okay,
seen? Not in that way, but not in that way. Like you see the mom TikToks where they're like,
well, Honey Boo Boo?
no, like they're just like making like a video. Like I can just imagine they have like their phone on a permanent tripod, and at every possible moment they just know all the places in their house where they can set it up to get the angles, and they're like, here's how dinner with 3 kids goes, and then it's like the most exaggerated thing, and like the kids like are in on it, so they're acting and this and that. Like, dude, some of it, is it entertaining? Sure, but like, come on.
So to keep us from just being these two dipshits that pontificate in a couple armchairs in a basement, the plan of action, I think, though, is I think you need... This arm is moving. I think you need a nonprofit that is dedicated to awareness around what kind of risks there are with it.
Well, there you have it. Non-profit.
Dude, nonprofits work. I mean, because so in a nonprofit business model, you theoretically could advertise on the very thing that you're like,
okay, that's true,
fighting against.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, maybe even
yeah.
as part of the legislation, which would be prong number 2,
you get government money.
Not even just getting government money. I'm thinking, how can we minimize government spending because nobody wants the taxes to go up? Maybe it's just a trade-off where it's like, hey, as a part of, adhering to this legislation, you're going to run these notices.
Yeah.
So that way people are aware of things and where to go to understand it. And maybe it's required to be like, I don't know, every 30 videos, every 50 videos, you just get like, a static page.
It's like when you would play the Wii for too long and they'd be like, how about you go outside?
Exactly like that. And that's a net zero thing there. All that takes is literally just Congress being like, hey, we need to do something about this. Let's do this. I think that, like, for the shorts, for instance, I think in order to get access to shorts, they should validate IDs and ensure that you are, in fact, the age that you are. Because anybody that doesn't have an ID is going to be under 16.
Well, I guess that kind of... I was going to say, like, how about just to create an account you have to provide an ID? Because now you're getting so much more than just the... keeping kids off of like these things, but you have like people that create spam accounts to scam people. Like you can't just create a spoof email and create a spoof account to lure people in and then scam them. If you have to provide an identification to create the account, now there's an identification tied to that account. So if anything bad were to happen linked to that account, it is now linked to said person on the identification.
So I can tell you that collectively the internet community will hate that idea.
Well,
of
yeah.
like taking away their ability. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm saying provide an ID to get access to certain things.
Yeah.
It's like,
like we had to
is a privilege.
Like we had to provide a ID to recommend videos on Shorts.
Yep.
I don't understand why.
That's my point. The feature is already there. It's because if you're recommending shit that's not okay, they actually have a way to trace it back to you. And
okay, that makes sense.
They can take corrective action on it.
Yeah.
With the law.
Yeah.
But that's my point. We already have the technology. We have the features in certain aspects. Mm-hmm. We just need to make sure that our capability matrix is aligned so that, hey, if you're under 16, maybe we don't let you watch these short things that we can't keep what's it called? Lasso on.
Yeah. Yeah, cuz like that's the issue is they can get out of line they have a profound effect on your emotions and like your mental state. Like I'll be scrolling through mine like the times that I do watch them. And it'll be, gaming related, skateboarding related, like something nerd related. And then it'll be like this kid who had like terminal cancer and they're like doing all of this stuff and like you watch his journey and you're just like, I was not prepared for that. And that just like, it just puts you in this place to where now like, if you get off of it right then, like you're just thinking about that. Like you're thinking about like, what that's like or, stuff like that. Like you can argue that, you're getting that at every point and like there are benefits to that kind of stuff because those stories do need to be told and,
absolutely
everything like that. But it's rough to figure out like how to recommend that to somebody.
Full context, our Constitution was written in a very slow time. I mean, you had to ride horses from town to town, right?
By the time person A got the message to person B about somebody coming to get him, that person probably already got him, and the message gets there. And
right. I mean, so like Western Union made a mint on getting shit from point A to point B, and it still took weeks.
Yeah.
The idea that UPS can get a package from frickin' California to New York
in like
same
a day
is just mind-blowing. So now we're taking that and we're going from, weeks, same day. Now we're looking at it from a data perspective and we can literally, send data around the world in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
So you start to think about the power of ideas. Well, that's what created this country.
Yeah.
So tell me more about the power of ideas when you can literally spread it to the whole country like that.
Yeah.
We haven't built the support or guidance for that piece of it yet, and we needed to.
I think a big problem that, is coming from putting any sort of like regulations or like really trying to address a problem is that it then affects the revenue because some of those creators and stuff that make these 30-second like pretty well done videos sometimes, they make these videos, some of them are pulling millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that the application that they're on is banking money.
Yeah, well, exactly. And here's my question to you. I'm happy for you and your capitalist adventure. We're all capitalists. That's what we're founded on. Do you really need $3 million for being a dipshit on a camera?
It's, I mean, for some people, it's just like, it's easy money.
Okay. I don't care if it is easy money. My point is that, if you're willing to sacrifice America's youth so you can buy whatever the fuck you want, I think you're the problem. Bye.
That's the problem.
Right. We're rewarding
people. Like, people aren't going to sacrifice money for anything. nobody's sacrificing money. Never. Ever,
Well,
ever.
I mean,
So, like, that's a big thing,
that's
you know.
the whole socialist, capitalist, communist thing.
Yeah, I was going to dive down something, but I don't.
No, go ahead.
It's just the fact, you know, that there are some people who they have to work like 24/7.
Hi.
You are one of them, yes. But there are people that have to make a living. Like,
Hi.
if they don't, if they
Hi.
if they don't, they won't make rent, or they won't
work,
make their mortgage.
work.
And there are some people who are like, you know what? I'll figure it out. You know, because the thing about it is, when you become a parent, you either suck at it or you're going to be pretty great at it. I feel like it's one or the other.
I don't know. I don't think great parents really exist.
Probably not.
I mean, I think, well, no, because like I fancy myself a pretty good parent, and like there are times when I'm just like, shit, what am I doing, man? And like you are a great dad in my vision, and you know, I can safely say from our conversations that there are times when you're like, I'm all right.
I mean, it's human nature where, you know, you do something, like you shoo your kid away because like you just need a second to just breathe.
Well, it's not even that. Like, you can be a parent and your impact is limited because it's not just you, it's you. It's your spouse if you have one. It's your kid's teachers. And she's got, you know, 12 plus of them over the years, and they're changing every year.
Yeah.
And it's the coaches, and it's the other parents, and it's the neighbors, and it's the village, really. And ultimately, at the end of the day, if you're a great piece in a very dark puzzle, that's not going to do much.
Yeah. So, like, my original point is you have the people that they have no choice but to grind, like, nose to the grindstone. If I don't do this, like, we cannot live, which is a shame. It really is. And then there's people that, you know, can recover, you know, if they have a slow day or if they decided to take off a day or whatever. Like, I am fortunate enough to have the luxury of going out working, and I can if I decide to, I can draw a hard line and be like, I don't care what it is, I'm wrapping up at this time because I want to go home, or I have something to do, or
I'm going to out you.
I need to be something.
I'm going to out you.
Go ahead.
No, I'm not going to out you.
I mean, there are some days where, you know, I'm so busy and it's hard to turn down the money because, again, there are some days where I'm up to my neck in work and I'm like, Jesus. And there's some days where I can go do a very small amount of work and come home and just be home.
Yeah, I mean, and then there are those days where you do a small amount of work because you're you, and
I mean, there's that too. Like,
I'm kidding.
you know, I've been afforded the luxury of being able to, you know, if you know, Bronson plays sports or whatever, I can leave or I can take off a day to do, like, you know, whatever. Like, I have that luxury. But there's some people that don't. And, like, I feel, and, like, I'm the person, too, like, where I don't want to build this, like, empire. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to just bury myself in work, and then by the time my kids are grown, they could have anything that they want. They can do anything. I've put my nose to the grindstone and worked so hard for this big, wealthy empire to take care of my kids, but at the end of the day, I was never there because I was too busy building the empire.
Yeah.
I want to, like, when I'm on my deathbed and my kids are around me, I don't want them to look at me and be like, yeah, he was my dad. I want them to be like, he was there. You know, even if I was sitting on a chair watching TV, even if I was down in my basement on my computer and they were, you know, playing a game on the TV, or they were playing in the backyard and I just sat on like a lawn chair and just watched. Like, it doesn't matter what I'm doing with them. It's the fact that every time that they think of a memory, I was there.
So one thing I will caution you is that if you want them to remember you when they think of a specific memory, I would try to make yourself part of that instead of just being there.
Yeah, like for things that are going to be memories, it's going to be not, you know, playing in the yard and I was sitting on the chair just like watching them.
I mean,
like, you know, if Bronson plays baseball and it's like, yeah, at every single baseball game, Dad was there. And, you know, he was right there on the sideline or right behind the bench, or he fucking helped coach, you know, whatever.
There's a big difference between being on the bench and helping coach.
Whatever the fact may be, like, he's going to remember being
yelled at by you.
I was there.
No, I get that. And I think that's cool. Like, and, you know, me, conversely, I definitely have flexibility to work when I want and be out when I want, and I've been encouraged by, you know, my leadership to take my damn PTO, because evidently I don't ever do it. But at the same token, I am trying to make a difference in what I do, and I'm trying to impart change, and I'm trying to be like the best dad I can be at the same time by being there, you know, all the time. And fortunate for me, most of my, well, yeah, we'll go with like 99% of my work is from home. So like even when I'm not, even if I'm working, I'm still there. But, you know, I do get out and volunteer at the school.
But even then, like, you know, during summer break, if she's home and you're working, like, you may not be doing something, but you're still there. Like, if she had a problem and she ran into you and was just like, I need to talk to you about this. Like, you are available to talk to. You're not in 17 different meetings. You're not buried in a cubicle.
Hold up. I'm not in a cubicle, but I'm definitely buried in 17 different
100%.
meetings.
But if your kid runs into you during one of those meetings bawling and is like visibly upset, chances are you're probably going to be like, okay, 1 second.
Yes, if I'm in a meeting and she runs in bawling, I'm going to turn off the camera and tell everybody I'll mute myself, I'll be back. If she walks in and she's just like, how do you butter toast? While I'm on a meeting, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to mute the camera, turn around on camera and be like, what are you doing? Let's talk about buttered sausage. Buttered sausage. I don't like it.
I don't even want to know what that's from.
I'm going to find it now.
Find it later.
Fine, I'll find it later. Buttered sausage.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. Like,
I'm gonna kiss it on the lips.
If you're at home and you're sitting on the couch or whatever, just watching a movie with your spouse or watching a TV show, and they're running around playing, like, if they have a question, they can come up and ask. If they if they're like, hey, let's play a game, you can play a game. There's multiple things that you can do, but I digress because we're just going off on a tangent that I didn't want to go off on.
I just can't wait until you get to the point where your child walks up to you with a question and you literally look back at them and you're just like,
I do that now.
Because I get questions and I'm just like, is it all hair?
I do that
now. Where
did
it go? Did it vanish? Did you figure out transportation or teleportation or something to just like put your brain in a different place for 5 seconds? Because I need to know.